We're growing very rapidly down here, and we're attracting residents pretty much as quickly as we can.
And I've lived here for 20 years and heard it's in the plans, it's now in motion.
And I think the train coming really sped everything up. I don't know. I think it was like the train opened and then suddenly now we're developing.
This is Riverside South. Right on the edge of southern Ottawa, it's a pretty big but relatively new suburb where I've spent most of my life. With the arrival of the LRT to the edge of the community, a growing population, and some new stores and houses, the area is having its moment. But up until recently, it's felt like Riverside South has been slow to get the retail and recreational development that might have been interesting to my friends and I. No wonder I've seen so many of the friends I grew up with leave for other more accessible neighborhoods, while myself, now in my mid-20s, chose to stay. So why do I like it here while others choose to leave? And is that changing with the developments that are arriving around the neighborhood?
I think it depends what you're looking for.
From an outdoors perspective, there's a lot of park space.
Where we live in Riverside South and where the school is that my son will ultimately attend, we can have a very short walk there every morning, and it's a nice, safe, secluded residential hike to the school.
So people I talk to clearly like how green Riverside South is, and it's something I really like about it too. But for those who are not the outdoorsy walking type, there's not a whole lot to do unless you want to drive over to neighboring areas like Barhaven or South Keys.
There aren't a lot of third spaces. That's kind of what I'm looking for. You have to kind of displace yourself out of the neighborhood. It requires planning, it requires commuting.
Today, the area is growing fast, and it's a pretty different place since it first started being developed more than 20 years ago. Way back in 1998, Craig Cudmore says he was initially turned off by the idea of moving here.
Saw an ad for this neighborhood opening up and came out and saw it and said, who in their right mind would ever want to move out there? And then a year later, we were back and saw the model homes and bought a house out here.
Once settled, Craig ended up becoming quite involved and for a time was president of the Community Association, which included advocating for growth of the fledgling area at City Council and arguing against city councillors who thought the new roads and houses in the area was a bad idea.
One city councillor referred to Riverside South as the headwaters of the Bronson Expressway, and it was just dead set against any development in the South End.
Now the community isn't just a place for single-family homes with parents and kids, or grown-up kids living at home like myself. There's now a mix of housing including condos as well as rentals with a blend of people living there. A new library and rec center is being built, and additional retail projects are in the works too. For a community like Riverside South, even a Starbucks opening is really exciting. It's a bigger deal than you'd think.
I know we've been, or at least I have been, hoping for a coffee shop for ages, or just somewhere to go after school if I wanted to do some studying, even just not at my house. There's kind of nothing here.
And right across from that is Line 2 of the new LRT, ending here in Riverside South. For someone who doesn't drive, this is a major improvement to what I've found to be inconsistent bus service, although its location and connections to it aren't the most ideal for myself and others I spoke to.
There are some rooms for improvement in, say, the frequency, only running 12 minutes. If you miss your train, you're in for a long delay at work or wherever you're trying to go.
I definitely wish it was faster, and whenever I explain the route that I have to take to get there, people are just baffled that I have to make like a big L shape essentially instead of a more like direct line I could probably take.
City Councillor Steve DeRoche admits that's an issue, but is proud of the system.
A previous council that I wasn't on made the decision that this was the budget for the Line 2, and as a result, the trains are slower than they can be. Still moves very quickly when you compare it to traveling by bus in a mixed traffic situation.
But overall, he's happy to see how far this place has come.
People want more in their own communities so that they don't have a long drive. And this will demonstrate further that this is becoming more and more a complete community. It's great to finally see these going from the planning phase to reality.
However you feel about the history and development of Riverside South, I would argue the area's most important development is its food bank, the community table.
But we very quickly, doing some data analysis, there's a real need out here in food insecurity, and we just never saw that coming.
You might be thinking a newer suburb area like Riverside South wouldn't need a food bank. you'd be wrong.
So we operate right in the grocery store now. There's a space that you wouldn't know it's there unless you knew we were looking for it. So that one of our principles is dignity and compassion for our guests. They walk into the grocery store like anybody else and you don't know they're going there, and they come out the same exit as everybody else.
While the area is still a work in progress, the community table shows the most important thing we can develop is the strength to help our neighbors and make our community a better place for everyone. Time will tell whether I stay here long term, but for now, I'm happy to be here and see what the future brings to Riverside South.